Well, listen, Vic, we got a great show lined up tonight, man. We're here in just a minute or so. I'm going to get my dial pad up. We're going to be talking with Mr. Carl Pusser of Walking Tall Cycles out there near Tremont. He is going to be part of the 2014, and I want to get this right again before I screw it up and not say it right. It's the 2014 Rat Hard Great American Blue Collar Build-Off. And they're picking 12 motorcycles builders and 12 car builders from all across the country, right, Vic? And the challenge is to build a motorcycle or a car made of pieces and scraps found in, like, trash heaps or junkyards, and you got to do it in 30 days. Now, in total, the parts must cost no more than $3,000. So, like, that's your ceiling, $3,000. And Carl, he was picked as one of the contestants to build a motorcycle. And after the 30 days, he and his crew, they got to build the bike, and then he'll ride it down to St. Louis. And then from there, they'll go from St. Louis over to Lebanon, Tennessee, with, I believe, all 12 bikes and 12 cars in this big-ass parade that's going to go from St. Louis to Tennessee, man. And I think that in itself is going to be something to behold, that parade right there, boy.
Hell yeah, it's going to be a good time there for him. And these guys got a lot of skill. My dumb ass can't even get a 150-piece puzzle together, for Christ's sake.
No kidding, man. And then about 8:30, as we talk with Carl, we're going to dial up Jerry Ripley of Ride Hard Magazine. We'll talk with him about that event, as well as the event that they were just at this past weekend down in Springfield, Missouri. It was called Bikes, Blues, and Hot Cars. So hang tight, Vic. I'm going to pull up the dial pad here. I got the number punched in. I think it's right. Oh, I hope it's right. Let's hit dial and see what happens. I got her done. I got her did. All right, it's ringing. Midnight Rider, baby.
Hello.
Hey, evening, Carl. It's Big Perm. How are you, man?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing quite well. Alive and kicking. I can't ask for much more.
Right on.
Well, I'm sitting here with my road dog, Mr. Vic Nasty.
What's going on, Nasty?
Oh, good, man. How's it going with you, Carl?
Well, we're a little tired. Been traveling for the last few days.
Come on,
well,
Carl. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was just going to say, Carl, I know you're just getting back off the road from the Bikes, Blues, and Hot Cars event down there in Springfield, Missouri, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And that one of them events put on by Ride Hard Magazine and Mr. Jerry Ripley. We'll talk to him here in a little bit. But I just wanted to hear how that event was, man, what it was like hanging out, with the family and friends down there.
Well, actually, it was a pretty good deal. I mean, the rain kind of screwed us up a little bit for a day or so, but as far as the other vendors down there and stuff, I mean, we all kind of stick together and stuck it out, and we got to meet people, and that's people's what makes us do the stuff we do.
And that was something you and I was talking about a little earlier today, was just, family and community, and how, the motorcycle community is like family. I mean, there's people from all over the country that you meet and on the road and what have you. And that's what I wanted to kind of get across to people is that, this biker community, I mean, it's like a family, and there's a lot of good dudes out there.
Oh, I tell you what, I mean, motorcycling's been around for so many years, in the last 25 years, because years ago, if you owned a Harley, 30 years ago, you was an outlaw, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I mean, when Harley kicked in and all the new bikes come out, everybody started going out and buying them, and it changed. I mean, everybody's got a mutual respect, for the motorcycle community, as far as I'm concerned. At that point, there's all different kinds of bikers, as far as I'm concerned. You got your 1%ers, which is your badasses,
right.
and then you got your guys that go to the tavern and do the TT runs and the poker runs and all that stuff, and then you got the other people that just go out and travel and the old-fashioned motorcycle way, and then there's me. You know what I mean?
Out in Tremont. Well, Carl, your shop, Walking Tall Cycles, out there, that's where you do a lot of your work at. And you guys put out some magnificent pieces. I'm I'm looking at a picture of you on one. I think it's called Diplomatic Immunity, and dude, that is a badass piece of machinery.
Yeah, it's the guy brought it to me and as a stock bike. It was actually in pieces in boxes, and what happened was I called him up and said, "Hey, he wanted me to put it back together." I said, "Well, I can do that. That ain't no big deal." And I showed him what it looked like stock. He goes, "That's not what I want." And so Blair Gamble's his name. Blair ended up sending me a couple pictures of some diggers, and he goes, "But I want a soft suspension." And I said, "All right." So about a year later, that's what I come up with.
Yeah, well, man, I tell you what, you've got an eye and quite an imagination. That is one badass bike, man. And, you know, talking about building bikes, you know, I wanted to talk to you about, and that's what we brought you on for, was to talk about your role in the 2014 Rat Hard Great American Blue Collar Build-Off. You were picked as one of the 12 motorcycle builders, and I want to know what you're going to do with a limit of $3,000 and using trash and junk parts. What in the heck?
Right.
You know, can you share any ideas with us?
Well, yeah. Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. It's going to be a '65 Triumph.
Nice.
When I found out it was going to be a build-off, you know, I got picked. I immediately started looking around, and I went on Craigslist looking around, and I found this '65 Triumph there in Blue Ray, Tennessee. And the thing of it is that my mentor, who taught me how to work on these bikes over 30-some years ago, is the one that actually just rebuilt that motor and everything in that bike, so that motor's good to go. And so I called the guy up, and sure enough, I went down and bought it. Which the other ironic thing is that the guy we lived about 2 houses down from my brother didn't know it.
No kidding.
Yeah, down in Tennessee, down there. Me and Doug and Al Ziegler, we loaded up and done a road trip. We left out that night, went down and picked her up that next morning, and then turned around and head back. We do that quite a bit. We find stuff and buy stuff, so we like the road trip, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, Carl, from what I understand, when you're building this bike, you're gonna. Well, I was reading in the Journal Star from that article that they did a week or two back. You're going to set up like a little miniature shop down on the Roderfront as part of like the Grand Nationals weekend as you build that bike, so folks can actually watch you do it.
Yeah. I'm hoping to have most of the fab done within like 2 days, because I'm only going to have like 2 days to do it before, to start on it before I actually start assembling it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get all the fab work and stuff done in those 2 days, and I'll probably work 36 hours straight just to get that done, just so I can assemble that bike down there. If I get it assembled, I might even try to fire it up that night. Who knows?
Hell yeah, man. That's something I don't want to miss. Shoot. Well, Vic, I wanted to throw it over to you, bud.
Carl, are you a fan of like the old British cafe racer type motorcycles, or is this something that just happened on the spot with you?
Well, the British bikes, I've been messing with British bikes. Well, I had my first bike when I was 8 years old. It's a 1948 PSA Phantom 125. I ain't going to tell you how old I am, but I've had my license now for over 30-something years. So, but yeah, man, but I grew up on British bikes. I had Triumphs and PSAs. I mean, I had a front end on this Triumph when I was a sophomore in high school, or a junior in high school. And I mean, that front end, man, it was about from here to Oakland, about how long it was, I think. It's old school.
It had to be hard as hell to turn with that big old front end.
How long break on it?
Well, I tell you what, at 16 years old, I thought I was the coolest fucker around. I guarantee you that.
And you probably
Oh, yeah. There wasn't no football fields for me I couldn't handle. But yeah, man, I mean, so the British bikes, and I had a Harley, I had a Sportster when I was a sophomore, and I had a 650 PSA when I was a freshman, and then I mean, I was riding the 76 Super Glide when I was a senior in high school, man. So, I mean, I've been riding old Harleys and stuff, you know, and I mean, I've had about every kind of motorcycle you can think of. I like them all. I'm not hardcore to one. I'm not your hardcore Harley run around rub type person, which rubs are this kind of people I call it rich urban bikers. You know, got the brand new leathers and the brand new chaps and, you know, and their bandanas and do rags and all that shit. I'm pretty much myself.
When the weekend's over, they fold it all up and it goes in the drawer until next weekend.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. My deal consists of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You know.
That's what I was just going to ask, Carl. I mean, obviously this has been a lifetime of a love for motorcycles for you and a lifestyle. And I have quite a few friends, and that's what I wanted to just kind of get at was the lifestyle itself. You know, you mentioned, you know, there are badasses out there, but a lot of people, you know, they see the TV show Sons of Anarchy, and you know, they kind of see it as a rough tumble world.
Yeah, I call that Sons of Malarkey. You know, you know that shit what really went on, man. I mean, you know, the apocalypse is already starting to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But,
cool.
Yeah, that's what we call Sons of Malarkey around here, because that's just plain bullshit. You know, I mean, some of that stuff might really happen. You know, some of that stuff probably did happen, you know, in the early 70s, late 60s and stuff like that. Nowadays, I mean, I don't see that happening anymore.
No, not at all, man. And something, we're going to be talking with Jerry Ripley, the owner, editor of Ride Hard Magazine here in just maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more about the build-off and all that good stuff. But, Carl, just, you know, you have, just since we got a couple minutes before we talk to Jerry, you got a rather famous relative in the family, an uncle of yours by the name of Buford Pusser, who was immortalized in that famous movie Walking Tall, which I think is where your cycle shop name comes from. I mean, I'm sure you've probably been driven nuts over the years with questions about him, but I figured, heck, you know, I just wanted to ask, you know, what it was like to have him as an uncle and then, you know, hear the stories growing up through the years.
Well, that's, well, actually, you know, I'm proud he was my uncle. You know, the life that he chose, it was a rough one. You know, he done what he thought he had to do. You know, to me, my uncle was my uncle. He was the greatest thing in the world. I mean, just like, you know, other people's family. He wasn't no different than anybody else. He's just a little bigger and a little rougher and got a little notoriety behind him, you know.
For sure.
You know, but, yeah, I remember, you know, sitting in the bedroom, he had his shirt off that one time, and it about scarred me for life, just looking at the scars on his body, you know, from the stabbings and the shootings, and, I mean, it looked like a crossword puzzle, man. It was just unbelievable.
Holy cow, man. Yeah, seeing that as a little kid, and that's something, you know, he's just your uncle, man, and that's how you saw him. I mean, the rest of the world and a lot of us, you know, really only know him from what we saw on the big screen, and it's just, I always like to get that different perspective, you know, because, you know, even if they are on the big screen, I mean, movie actors, big pro athletes, they are all just real people too, just like you and me.
Exactly, man, exactly. I mean, you know, it's just like over the weekend, you know, people are down there talking to me and stuff and that, and, you know, we tell them, I mean, man, I got grandkids, you know. I mean, I'm no different than anybody else, you know, but, you know, they I don't know, they just kind of like notoriety and stuff like that, and you know, and my name's come around for, what, you know, over 30, 40 years now, the Pusser name has, and I'm just kind of bringing it back in a different way.
I can remember as a little kid, I caught a ride with some girls from Glassford when you could still cruise Main Street here in Peoria, and we got to their house in Glassford, and their dad came out and run us off, was going to shoot us, told us to get the hell out of there. So we walked all the way from the other side of Glassford all the way down to 29, and I remember we caught a ride with these people that had a dog in the car, and they were going to this bar out there called Pusser's Last Chance or something like that. Was
was Lucky
that
Spot.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. I was just like 14 or 15, man. I was a kid. Was that bar part of the family?
Well, that was my dad's bar.
Okay.
My dad owned that, and that was a neat little place.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, making that walk, and we hitched a ride with them people, and that's where we went to, and I didn't go inside, because we were just kids. We kept walking from there, but I just wondered if that was in the family.
Yeah, that was my dad's bar there. I was actually probably working in there. If you come in, I'd probably run your little ass out.
Right. Oh, goodness, man. Well, Carl, if you can hang on a minute, man, I'm going to pull up my dial pad here, and I got to wipe out your phone number and pound in another phone number here real quick. And we're going to get Mr. Jerry Ripley from Ride Hard Magazine on the phone here to talk to him about the magazine and the build-off and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
You got to watch out for Tom, Carl. He usually finds a way to fuck up the dialer.
Hey, I got it, I think. It's ringing anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Jerry. There it is.
Hello.
Hi, Jerry.
Hello. Yes,
hey,
sir.
Good evening. It's Big Perm here. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good. What's up, Big Perm?
Oh, man, I'm just sitting here chilling. I got Carl Pusser here with me, and then my co-host Vic Nasty. I'm sure they want to say hello.
Yeah.
Hey,
how's it going, guys?
Jerry, long time no see.
I'm saying, man, you make it back home okay, I see.
Oh, yeah. We made it back about 4:30 this morning.
Oh, man.
Well,
hey,
road trip.
I wish I could be up there with you guys, but I'm a little crippled up here today.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, where are we catching you at tonight, bud?
Buddy, I am sitting out on the farm in Freeburg, Illinois.
Well, I'm guessing you're a little bit south of me then. I'm up here in good old Peoria.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm out here with the crows and the chicken hawks.
Man, I'm so tired of this city life. I mean, I love Peoria, but I long for the life in the country, let me tell you.
Well, it's great unless you want to stay in touch with people. The phone signal isn't the best.
Well, that might be a problem then, because I do this show on my phone, and I think I'd be a little screwed.
Yeah. Well, Carl can tell you how hard I am to get a hold of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got to send that pigeon down there with a message every now and then just to get a message back.
And
yeah, I got to.
Don't get it.
I actually got to stand here in the kitchen with my right hand on the toaster just so I can get a signal on my phone.
God damn it.
Well, Jerry, it's you and Tracy Ripley. You guys are owners and editors of Ride Hard Magazine, which, for our listeners, it's a free monthly motorcycle magazine that's dedicated to the Midwest motorcycle community. And I know this weekend we were talking with Carl about the event that you guys had down there in Springfield, Missouri, the Bikes, Blues, and Hot Cars. And Carl was saying the weather didn't cooperate all that much, but still it was overall a pretty damn good event.
It was. One thing you can't control is the weather, but you get to meet a lot of great people, and Springfield, Missouri's got a really, really strong motorcycle community, and a lot of them came out anyway. They braved the rain that made for a great time.
Oh, yeah, and we also talked with Carl about community, and about, even with the weather, people still came out, and it's just like a big family event there, man, and, it's a time where, you get to, I guess, get reacquainted with some people that you might not have seen in a while.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's always good to catch up with everybody.
Well, like
Jerry,
I said,
tell us a little bit.
Too,
go ahead, Carl.
My biggest deal was I got to meet these other vendors that I've never met before,
right.
And just admire each other's work and to talk with them, and hopefully we can all do business together at one point at time, but just to respect of the other vendors and, you know, other bike builders that was there. It's just, you know, we're like a whole different family of our own, you know.
Well, yeah, and we definitely look out after each other. It's a pretty tight-knit community. But at the same time, anybody on the outside of the community, you know, especially kids, anybody gets in a jam or needs anything or is in a bind, seems like the motorcycle community is the first people to step up to try and help somebody, whether they know them or not.
That's true.
Well, and that's real evident here in Peoria, you know, with the different poker runs that they have, and, you know, bikers for Tatas. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of different things that the bikers here in Peoria and in Central Illinois do, and that totally rings true. And, you know, Jerry, you guys are sponsoring and part of this 2014 Rat Hard Great American Blue Collar Build-Off, which Carl's been chosen as one of the motorcycle builders. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that event, you know, hear a little bit more about it, and, you know, maybe how it came about, and about this parade of bikes and cars that's going to go from St. Louis to Tennessee later in August.
Well, it came about last year after the initial Steel Fest event that we do with Rat Rod Magazine. They're a national magazine that covers and kind of rules the rat rod world. But the editor of that and the owner of the magazine gave me a call after the event and, you know, just said, hey, man, this went off really good. What do you think about, you know, all this stuff on TV about these fancy high-dollar build-offs that's going on that are all scripted for TV? Wouldn't it be cool if we could do something for the real guys, the home builders that are in their garage that are never going to be able to afford $50,000 to put into a bike? Why don't we do something for them? So it was really Steve from Rat Rod Magazine's idea, and he presented it to us, and being the motorcycle magazine, we jumped right on it.
Well, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about how your relationship with Carl, you know, came about, and how he was chosen. You know, he's, you know, from right here in Central Illinois, and that's what we're all about is the folks here in this area. And so, how'd Carl get picked to be one of the 12?
Well, we had met Carl through one of our photographers, Kevin Willis, and Kevin informed him about the build-off, told him what was going on, and Carl submitted an entry, and he was lucky enough to get his name drawn, and thank God he did, because it's turned out he's become a really good friend of ours and the magazine, and we're looking really forward to seeing what he has to build. He's given me a few hints. He won't tell me everything, but I cannot wait to see.
Well, Vic, how about I throw it over to you, bud? I'm sure you got some questions.
Jerry, what I was really interested in and wanted everybody to know about, the listeners and what have you, is how and why you started the magazine and on the motorcycle culture here in, you know, the Midwest and Illinois and Missouri.
Well, we started the magazine. We initially worked for another magazine. I can't say the name of it, but we kind of parted ways with it after we got a little bit burned out. We were working our butts off, and we just wanted to take a break, and we took a year off, and the community just came to us and said, you know, why don't you guys do your own? Just start your own magazine. You've got the name out there, and everybody knows you, and just do your own. So we did, and there's other magazines in the area, and they all got their niche. One handles events, you know, pretty much just poker runs and all that. Well, there was no magazine around here that is really a biker magazine that features really cool builds and does like the big national magazines do, with the really cool photography with the beautiful models and the girls, and talking about the actual builds themselves. And we were lucky enough to get some great photographers like Kevin Willis and myself. I don't mind patting myself on the back. And we ran with it.
I'll pat you on the back, Jerry.
And it took off. I mean, we're getting ready to do issue 24, I believe, and we're almost 12,000 fans on Facebook already just after 24 magazines. The other magazine's been in this town for 10 years, and they're barely hitting 3,000, so we're doing something right.
Hell yeah. Well, Carl, I wanted to ask you, you know, since you and Jerry met, you know, seeing yourself and your work in magazines and in print, you know, folks like me, you know, knocking on your door, wanting your attention. Just tell me what that experience has been like for you, man.
Well, it seems like everywhere I go here lately, I mean, since the magazine and stuff come out, we got that deal with the Journal Star, talking about the build-off and stuff. I mean, since I got picked for that build-off, man, and then with the help of Jerry and Kevin Willis and them guys, I mean, without them, I mean, my stuff is still only being in local stuff. I mean, me and Cindy, we traveled quite a bit, over the last couple of years, just showing off different bikes and stuff. But the magazines definitely help. Like I said, I mean, you can only go so far. Basically, I pretty much have to market myself, and and then with the help of Jerry and Ride Hard Magazine, it's just gone blown way out of the water. Actually, I mean, it's great, but now I can't even get a goddamn thing done. Somebody turn around. I gotta lock the goddamn door so nobody can come in so we can get anything done. People wanting to walk in and talk and look around and bullshit. Well, I don't have time for bullshit because it don't make me no money.
I got work to do.
All we really did with the magazine was just introduce Carl to more people. Carl he's, as you guys probably have figured out already, is a hell of a guy. He's awesome personality. He's very outgoing. For example, when we were down at Bikes, Blues, and Hot Cars, it was a family-friendly event, and there were kids walking around, and they were looking at Carl and all this cool stuff. And, man, he didn't hesitate to stop and invite the kid over, and he'd get a copy of his magazines out, and he'd autograph it for him. And that's just the personality Carl has. He's a hell of a guy. And, that's all we did was just introduce him to more people. His popularity is really just Carl. You can't go wrong with the guy.
Just Carl. Hey, it's pretty bad.
Sorry.
Hey, lady over here with a pin trying to pop my bubble off my head here.
And he built some outrageously badass bikes too. That does help.
Well, gentlemen, listen, we've only got about a minute or two left with you guys. Vic, I just wanted to throw it over to you, bud, and give you any last words with Jerry and Carl.
Fellas, just keep going hard at it. I can't wait to hear more of you in the future, Carl. I can't wait to hear your bike. And, Jerry, much success in the future with your magazine, and I'll be looking for the stories in there. And I love the way your website is set up with the archives and everything, where people can go and look at the back issues and, let them know where what your website is and everything before you go. That way they'll know how to look at the back issues and get in on, your great magazine.
Absolutely. It's real easy, www.ridehard-magazine.com, and you can always find us on Facebook.
Absolutely. Well, listen, gentlemen, both you, Jerry, and you, Carl, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us tonight, man. Again, it's the 2014, I closed my, what's the name of that build-off again? There it is. 2014 Rat Hard Great American Blue Collar Build-Off. And brought to you by Ride Hard Magazine and Rat Rod Magazine. Jerry, Carl, I'll start with you, Jerry. You got any last words, man?
No, just stay tuned to this and keep up with Carl down there. Find him on Facebook. Get us on Facebook. We'll keep you updated. There is a build-off page just for the build-off itself where you can go and vote. Once the building starts, you can go on there. Your votes count. That plays a big role in who wins this. So keep up with Carl and the rest of the builders and just vote.
Hell yeah. Well, Jerry, thank you, sir, for joining the show. And you be well and have a great night.
Thanks. You guys too, man.
Later on, bud.
See you, Jerry.
Well, Carl, we're going to turn our attention to you, sir, because that's what this interview was all about.
Yeah, man.
Wanted to just give you any last words that you might want to throw out there to our listeners before we let you go, bud.
Well, the biggest thing I can say to everybody out there is thank you. I really appreciate everything that everybody says and does for me. My crew of guys that I have here at the shop, I can't thank them enough. I mean, them guys bend over fucking backwards for me. That I mean, it's just, you know, I can't thank them enough. You know, without them guys, you know, my ideas don't come around because we sit around here and do crazy crap. But that's it, man.
Well, hey, Carl, for myself and Vic Nasty, everybody listening, man, I want to say thanks to you for joining us tonight. You be well, and I'll see you down there at the Grand Nationals. I'm going to be looking forward to you building that bike.
Yeah, man, right on there, Hoss.
All right, take care, Carl. Have a great night, sir.
Carl.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Hey, you're welcome, brother. Be good.
Yeah, fuck you.
All righty, Vic Nasty. That was Mr. Jerry Ripley of Ride Hard Magazine and Mr. Carl Pusser of Walking Tall Cycles out there near Tremont, Illinois. Going to be part of the 2014 Ride Hard Great American Blue Collar Build-Off, baby. What do you think of that?